Okay, y'all, welcome back to Dear Tisia podcast. We are on episode 9 and we're going to hop right into it. We have some subscription reminders, y'all. Please follow Dear Tisia podcast on Apple and Spotify. Click follow, like on Apple and Spotify, y'all. We need all of the followers that we can get on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. If you've been tuning in and you love listening to Dear Tisia, write a review. Give us some comments on how you're enjoying the show, even feedback, things that you want to see more. So leave us a 5-star review. Also, subscribe to the Relationship Restore and Dear Tisia YouTube channel. Our goal is 50,000 followers on Apple Podcasts. Easy money, baby. Y'all already know how I get down. We gonna get that, period. 1,000 reviews because we crushed the 500 goal. Okay, so now we're going up to 1,000. And then we need 100,000 subscribers on both channels. Absolutely think we can do it. And if you've been tuning in, you've known that we're switching up things a little bit. And so we're going, based on the feedback, we're going to be doing a little bit more of the Dear Tisia call-ins, the voicemails that we've been getting, because y'all seem to really, really love those. So thank you for all that feedback. We've added more Dear Tisia voicemails, and we're going to just be doing one hot topic. And of course, the Bitch You Smell Good fragrance segment is here to stay. And back again, we have our dear friend Ray. Okay, Ray is in our peanut gallery today, and I've shared this from our last episode that this is the first male to be in our peanut gallery. So this is a special place. You know, look, you got to wear the crown. Heavy as the head that wears the crown. He is the first male to be in our peanut gallery, and you know, y'all know I'm a girl's girl, and everything I do is based off of women, and so to just welcome someone into our space that is a man is very, like, y'all know I didn't play. Okay, I brought somebody. It's not, no, look, well, God rest so this ain't no Kevin Samuel stuff happening over here. Okay, look, we ain't got no, crazy red pill podcast men on this platform. All right, so Ray, you're actually from the UK. Yes, and Ghanaian from the UK. So I think it also is interesting. One day maybe we'll get into this, how just the dating culture is different from the UK and all. But anywho, we have Ray here in our peanut gallery that's going to give us some insightful perspectives this episode. And one of our listener reviews, we have Absolute Favorite. That's what's entitled Absolute Favorite from Nettie XOXO. And she said, this show gives me all the feels. Tisia keeps it real and raw. I love her. Definitely my homegirl without even knowing her. LOL. Once a week isn't enough. Don't tempt me with a good time now, y'all, okay? Once a week may turn into 2 times a week, okay? If you want more of me, just say that, all right? So anyways, love that. Thanks for the review, Nettie. So we're gonna go into our voicemail number 1, Dear Tisia voicemail, and it's entitled Dating in the Sassy Era. Oh Lord, let's hear it.
Oh.
Dear Tisia, I have a question. The saying is that we attract who we are. However, I'm not attracting who I am. I feel like I'm in a happy place. I'm content. I love my career. I just purchased a home last year, and I'm doing well as a single mother. But however, it feels like that our culture is in a sassy era, meaning that men want to be pursued. They want us to call them first. They want us to date them, pay for dates, or even pay half of the bills, or also take care of their children, cook and clean, and while we work full time jobs. And they want to be catered to. As you stated before, a lot of men describe a good woman as a maid, but
I did
that's
say
not
that.
in the space that we are in right now. So, my question is, since we seem to be in this sassy era with men, how can we date? Where would dating go for us who believe in having a male that is firm in his masculinity? A man that wants to pay bills, that goes to work and takes care of his children and wants to be an actual partner in the household. And by the way, Tazia, thank you so much for your content. It is changing lives around the world. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that. Okay, so a couple things. And this is, I just want to start by saying this, and y'all probably will be surprised to hear me say this because of the nature of my content. But I really want to be careful with the sassy thing because there's a and I know exactly what she's describing. Let me be clear. Okay. And I'm in alignment with you on that. I'm looking at you, girl. Okay. I'm in alignment with you on that. But there's also like a culture where like men feel dismissed and unheard, and that also presents danger with them not being able to be emotional and express themselves and talk about their emotions and things like that, that I think get categorized in the sassy department. And so I try to pull back off that word a little bit, but I hear you, friend. Look, I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you when you're right. So I know exactly what she is describing. I think that there are just so many ways to sniff out these kind of men that literally it don't last long with me at all. Meaning I could smell a man that want to go 50-50 and want you to call them first and want you see this all the time with the whole the phone works both ways. Baby, I met you 2 weeks ago. The phone works both ways. I stay away from those type of men. I stay away from men. As she said, when you ask a man to describe a good woman, watch him describe a maid. Ask that man about what he envisions his household to look like. I always ask that. I think it's great because it leads into like the dynamics of the household. It leads into what you, if your wife wants to homeschool the kids, if she wants to, like I asked him, like, how do you envision your household? If you had a magic wand, what would your household look like with you in a partnership? That'll tell you all you need to know. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Just and again, like sometimes men will present their representative, but I think that these type of men also are just a little bit more. Men these days are a little bit more opinionated with what they want and what they need and what they desire and their preferences and standards. And so you most likely are going to get a man who's going to tell you the exact truth. I've dated men, and I was like, well, what do you think about the finances? And I've met a couple that were like, put all the money in one pot, and I never called them again. Okay, those were the men that I never.
No,
You telling me all I need to know. And honestly, it's not no shade, no harm, no foul, but that's just not going to be in alignment with me. But like the men that are like, oh yeah, well it's our money, right? We're just going to put all the money in one, and I just I don't really like. So ask questions. I think that before you start exerting yourself and just really get too invested in them, really start asking, the important questions. Also, what I thought stood out is that she said that I'm not attracting who I am. I am telling you, you cannot defeat the laws of gravity. Baby, dig a little deeper. I'm going to tell you this. Whomever you attract, the mirror is looking right back at you. And a lot of times, superficial things like I'm doing well as a single mom, I'm a home owner, I'm doing well in my career, which sister, you said you've been tuning in, so you should already know how I'm coming about this, okay? Those are not things that a man is looking for. And I promise you that if you do just a little bit more digging, a little bit more shadow work, a little bit more reflection, you will see maybe some like mishaps in why you are attracting these kind of men. And it also can be just simply minuscule stuff like simple signals that you can send to a man that means so much, right? Like it could simply be like when I tell women on these dating apps, you sent the man's like, here's my number, give me a call. And then you wonder why you in a situation where you set it up that way. And so those kind of things can be like small things where a man is reading like, she's gonna do that. You meet a man in 1 week, he's like, send me a picture. He's trying to see what you would do for him. He's testing boundaries. He's trying to see what you'll do for him. And he's trying to see like if you're willing to make him feel special this early on. Because you see, you on my Instagram. You on my Snapchat, you on everything. You seen pictures of me. When a man is asking you that up front, he's trying to test your boundaries. So I'm asking her to really look at the totality. What are the minuscule little signals that you're sending throughout that will make these men show up in this way? Because this is a small example. Once upon a time, I went out on a date, and this guy, we had went out before, but he went to he came to pick me up from like a going away party. And after that going away party, our first little like date or encounter was him taking me through the McDonald's drive-through to get a McChicken and a large fry, okay? Because it was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So when we had our official date, it was like this Cuban spot. And I was like, this is nice. This is real cute. You know what he said to me, Ray? He said, I know where I can take you. And I said, really? Your first introduction to taking me anywhere was you picking me up from a going away party and taking me through McDonald's drive-through. He said, to see, I'm not crazy. I know, I see the material. I know where I can take you. And I hadn't said anything to him. I didn't have to communicate. You know what I'm saying? So the men that I'm attracting, just by appearance, demeanor, even like I said, his initial was like, hey, we've been drinking in this club. Can you take me to go get him a chicken and a large fry? And he was like, okay, bet. And the next date, he didn't take me to Fridays, Applebee's, or the Cheesecake Factory that the internet is up in uproar about. Right. He took me to a nice Cuban spot that was very intimate, and he reiterated that he knew my standard, and I didn't say a thing. Yeah. And so if you are attracting men that want you to do the work, I promise you're missing something. 100%. You're missing something. What are your thoughts?
There's a couple things here. First of all, respect to her. She seems very vulnerable to call in. Respect to her firstly. Now, I'm from the UK, so I'm not going to speak too much on American culture because I'm only starting to understand it myself. But for me, it's this, right? For those who don't know, I'm a life coach. So I do look at so many different aspects, right? And one thing I'm noticing is we are in different times economically. And my thing is, and I loved how you articulated this, Tisia wants a old-fashioned gentleman who's going to handle business. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're clear, you know what you want. And you know, because you know what you want, you know where to shop and you know what pool you're in. Now, my thing is this, we have to be realistic. The men that we want, sorry, not we, because I'm a man, the men that women want, if it is that guy you described that pays for everything, pays for dates, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way, disclaimer. If you want that, you deserve it, go get it. But understand something. I'm not going to speak in America because I don't know the numbers, but for example, England, a high-end job is 10% of England. So someone that earns, that can provide for his family solely and pay for everything is 10% of England. All right. Now, I'm going to use an example. 100K. I know in America, that's nothing. In England, 100K job's a good job. The average job in the UK is £33,000. Now, £33,000 isn't even getting you a garage. It's not getting you a bathroom. It's not getting you much. Yeah, especially in London. Yeah, now to get a house in London, you probably need a double jointed income on 50K each. But how is that possible when the average income is 32K? So what's happening is we are going through our ancestors' way when a man goes to work and he provides. But those day and ages, a man can buy a house for 20K. You can't get a house for 20K. You can't get a toilet or a bathroom for 20K.
Right.
You know, as I said, I'm not going to speak in America because I'm not too sure about the figures. I'm still new here. But in UK, 20K ain't getting you a bathroom. It barely will get you a chair, a sofa, a living room. So for me, it's everyone wants a man to pay for everything and handle everything. But he's 10% of UK. These jobs that people want, I want my man 100K. That's 10. Forget me, the life coach. Forget this here. These are facts. 10% of the UK earn over 100K. So that means the 90% of men that you're looking for that I want him to pay, he's on minimum, like he's not on minimum average wage, which is 35. How is he going to pay for the mortgage, pay for all your stuff and still date you and take you on all these holidays and make you look great on Instagram and still have enough for himself to be the man that you want him to be? Because let's be real, apart from all the aesthetics and that, you also need to be nurturing. He needs to be a father. He needs to romanticize you. He's tired because the 33K isn't enough for him. So he's probably going to get a double job. That double job is going to probably amount to 80. He still needs something. So he does do all of this. But guess what? 1,400,000 men kill themselves every week. And it's not spoken about. But when we do have people on phones saying, I want my man to do something, I want my man to do that. 1,400 men commit suicide every single week. It's there. It's not Ray Seafa. It's not Tisia. These are facts. And these numbers are horrendous. And I understand why, because in the economy that we're in today, we don't buy houses for 20K. We don't buy houses for 30K. You can't get a loft conversion for that sort of money. So these 100Ks and all of these dream jobs, I want a man to buy me this, buy me that. That's fine. But understand that it's 10%.
Yeah. Can I speak for the girls though?
Of course you can.
I think that there is this misconception that women want a man to pay for everything. And let me tell you that there is leadership that is not necessarily financial. And I think that per the caller, when she talk about this sassy era, what happens is that sometimes men think that providing and finances automatically makes them the head of the household, but there are so many other categories of leadership that they're lacking. And this is what people are calling the sassy era, right? I think that if women found men that were actually better leaders, took more of the lead, had more autonomy, were more emotionally available, had a little bit more dick discipline, that's a whole thing, just like outside of the like not whores and running the streets and all of these things, like just being more disciplined with their body, making better decisions, I think women will slide on the financial piece, right? But a lot of times these men are running us through the ground so fucking bad. They like, I'm not gonna do this and you broke. I'm going to do this and struggle with you. And I think that if men leveled up, there are so many women, myself included, that will make concessions financially, okay, if there were more maturity and growth in other departments. But men are missing the beat. And I actually empathize because I know that there's a lot of societal pressures for men to just make money. And like, it used to be, also, so I know Cheesecake Factory ain't cheap, y'all. If y'all ever been to a drink at the Cheesecake Factory is $14, $17. Okay, it's not cheap. All right. So I think that it's like, wait a minute, that used to be good enough. We used to go kick it at Applebee's. Now that's not good enough because Future then filled Lori Harvey's house with 1 million flowers. Like you're not Lori Harvey. You know what I'm saying? And so I do empathize that the societal pressures are a lot, but I think that women would not be so focused on the financial piece if men were like, I'm talking about coming from the hip in leadership, like making decisions, like having wherewithal. If I tell you I don't want nothing from the gas station, yes, I do. Bring back a candy bar anyway, right? Yeah. Being thoughtful, understanding, patient, kind, even integrating me into your family, your life. There are things that we're looking for that I think will balance out the finances, but we're in such a deficit and a drought that women are like, if I'm going to go through this, I'm not going to do it. And he ain't got no money either. And I think that's kind of what you're starting to see. But I think there's plenty of women that are like, 80K is enough. 60K is enough, 100K is enough, but I'm talking about the household is full of life, respect, understanding, romance, kindness. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not begging this man to take care of his own damn kids.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I totally agree with that. I definitely agree with what you've said because leadership isn't financial, and I'm one for that. I definitely agree, but you saying that, and this is going to sound crazy, I'm 35 this year. That's the first time, bearing in mind I'm a life coach, I speak to so many different people. This is the first time I've heard a woman describe what she wants from a man without it being like money.
Wow.
I'm being dead serious. And I speak to a lot of people, but so if it was clear, I know there's certain men that away from the finances is they got told I would love you to be more caring, nurturing, looking after the children, whatever. They could do that. But unfortunately, from both sex, I don't believe in sexes. I believe in just how you are, your wiring. Mothers raise their children, the boys, to provide. And then they raise their daughters to make sure you know how to cook. So we say men describe women as maids, but they're programmed. I remember growing up, my mother, when I'm a boy, I had a sister. My mom was telling me all the time, make sure you have a job, make sure you know how to cater to a man. So as much as we say, a man describes a maid, it's been programmed and our wiring's been like that from generations. So until we do the work and realize it's not about these stigmas and whatnot. It's about, like you said, just being caring. Both people can be providers, but let's be present. Let's do love. But if we're not careful, we're unconsciously still believing in old practices where it is that, because what you just described there, I even felt that. I was like, wow, she never once mentioned money. She mentioned leadership for what it is. But unfortunately, we're not hearing that this year. Maybe you are, and great.
No, I get that. I really do get that.
And it's clear you've done the work. But how many women are we hearing? We always hear finance at the forefront. And finance in this economy right now, where people are getting laid off, houses are expensive. A man, I can understand why these numbers are so high, because when he feels he's not providing to the capacity that it's said of the mortgage, of the this is that, he calls it a day. I don't promote suicide, but I can understand it, because when you feel like you're drowning because your wife keeps telling you do this, do that, and I'm not hearing caring, nurturing, being a good dad. All I'm hearing is you ain't providing. At a certain point, you feel like, what's the point of me being here then?
Yeah, I get that. I truly do, and that's honestly, thank you for sharing that. Like, I didn't, I've been entering my soft girl, lover girl era, and I didn't realize that men needed that so much, or needed to hear women, or even felt, I didn't know that that was like such a common trope, that men felt like women are like, you need money, you got to provide, Like, I feel like if the numbers that you spoke about, if you really boil down to it, the fact of the matter is that men make more money than women, and 80% of these jobs are blue collar, regular working jobs where men technically do make a higher wage. And so when you talk about an average person with the average salary, they are making more money than a woman. And so I think that, man, I think that we have kind of just lost lost the plot, and men and women need different things, because I remember first recounting some of my dating experiences here in the DMV, and I was just like, being raised so traditional, as you mentioned, I'm meeting the men and they like, oh, you ain't gotta cook. We could go to Mastro's, or I took my clothes to the cleaners. You ain't got to iron. And honestly, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know like what I could do or what I could bring.
Right.
Because now you're finding all of these self-sufficient men. It's like, baby, you ain't got to cook and clean. I got that. What else you got? What else can you do now? So, anywho, all that to say, I think that this caller should really do a little bit more deep diving. Like, I'm telling you, it's undeniable. Whatever you are, your aura, the universe will revolve back 100%. To you. Like, it will literally send it back to you. And so if you keep attracting men that are in this, I'm telling you, look at how you respond, and look at your text messages, look at those phone calls, look at how you're talking to them, look at your demeanor, everything. I promise you, if you do a little bit of digging, you will probably uncover that you're kind of fetching these kind of men, because 100%. I'm not meeting them.
I got a famous quote that went viral when I posted it, and I said, whether you like to admit it or not, you teach people how to treat you.
Absolutely.
And I definitely believe that. And that can, some of it's nonverbal. Like you said, it could be your aura, it could be your dressing, it could be your demeanor, it could be your language,
how you respond to something. Literally, even like what you feed or give attention to. You know what I'm saying? Knowing how to cut off or just disassociate with something that you're uninterested in. One of my biggest strengths that I've seen, like in my dating life, if showing disinterest to things that I don't approve of. When I see something that's inappropriate, where I feel like I don't like the way you talk to me, I literally will starve it out. I will not entertain it at all. You will not get any attention, any emotional. And that is grooming them to be like, oh, I know I can't play around. She didn't take that bait, like And so I think that, come on, friend, get into the girls chat and we got to work on this. So I think there's some other things, definitely kind of going on here. Okay, on to our second voicemail, entitled Girlfriend, Not Wife, Should I Move? Let's hear it.
Hi, Tisia. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you do for the female community as far as bringing us together, because if we don't have each other's backs, nobody will. I'm calling today because I'm dating my college sweetheart. 4 years ago, he moved out of our hometown to pursue a job. I supported him on it 100%. But unfortunately, because of that, we have been dating on and off. But recently, we've now been dating for a whole year. 3 years ago, He asked me to move with him. I wasn't ready because I was working on another degree and I just had a lot to work on as a person individually. I just told him that wasn't going to be possible then. But things have changed now. We've both matured in our lives, in our careers, and it's getting to the point where he's asking me again. I love him. I know that he loves me, but I am a traditional woman and it's frowned upon in my community to move in with a man without that ring security. But he is also a traditional man that believes you shouldn't move in with a woman without, you shouldn't marry a woman without living with her first. I just want to know if it would truly be worth it to leave my career, my friends, my family, my businesses, the life that I've built for myself back home since he's left, for the possibility of, being with the man that I love. It's a hard decision. And I know that he's serious about it. And I just want to know if it'll be worth it to start over with this man with just simply a girlfriend title. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much.
Oh, this one
I
is.
wonder when she said her college sweetheart moved away 4 years ago. I really want to know how old they are. I think that would matter to me.
Yeah, I know you. I know why you're asking that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but I'm also a little bit concerned that it was off and on before.
Yeah.
So she said that they matured a little bit. Anybody that knows me knows I'm anti shacking up. I am 37 years old. I have never lived with a man ever in my life, and I don't know. Times are look. I want my eggs cracked, man. I want a child. So, bitch, I don't know. I don't know if I'm holding on to that. Look, a man may call me tomorrow, and I'll be like, okay, fuck it, let's do it. But I think that she says she's a traditional woman, and then she's like, he's a traditional man who doesn't believe in marrying a woman without
Living with
living
them
with her
first.
first.
Right.
And I've heard that a lot. I do get that. I do understand. Again, I'm still a little bit concerned that they were rocky before and now they are in a better place. I feel like I think I have a lot of discernment. Let me say this. And I know what it sounds like when a woman is like, I'm going to be with my man, my man, my man. And this is not it, okay? And this is not because she expressed her discontent or her feeling like she wasn't quite sure about it. It's not because of that. It's literally because of like her tone and her aura. I always say it's not it's I'm listening to what you did not say. If you tell me that you're contemplating going to move down with a man, don't you think you would tell me all the great things about this man, Ray? Wouldn't you be like, and we do date nights, he flies in every 2 weeks to see me, we've been making it work? You didn't say any
Yeah,
of that.
none of that.
And it could just be that you didn't add it, but I'm telling you, when a woman is talking about her
A
man,
man.
okay, her man,
Right.
she gonna be like, this is what we're doing, this is what, and it's just, I'm just not really impressed. I think that I would like to have heard more doting about this man wanting her to move down there. Like, I didn't feel secure with it, and it didn't sound like quite that she felt secure with it. Also, I do recognize the traditional component of this. Baby, I always say, y'all, please do not volunteer for a uphill battle and problems. I have seen it with my own two eyes, families that do not support, because I have friends that are Haitian that have gone through this, very religious, and they gotta have the boyfriend and the fiance, even up into being engaged, that he living in the house and stuff like that. It's just is a lot. I think that if he really is serious about this, that he will also prepare the palace for you. Like, what is he leading you into? I think that matters. This can't just be a move down here. This is to be like, hey babe, are you looking for a job? Like,
Yeah.
have you found something down here yet? Like, I know a hair salon that's right next to you. Like,
Makes you
what?
feel
Prepare
more.
the palace, baby.
No, I
Roll
hear
out
you.
the carpet as to what are you gonna bring me into? And those will be more things that I'm concerned about. Now, again, I'm not somebody that's fond of shacking up, but I I understand that everybody's grown and it doesn't really apply to everybody. But I also will pay very close attention to where is he taking you to. He's asking you to come down there. What did he prepare? What kind of environment did he prepare for you? Are y'all gonna be moving now from a 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom because you need a closet, because you need a vanity room, because both of y'all clothes gotta combine? Are y'all gonna be moving closer to where your job will be? Like, I just would be like to see a little bit more planning and not just like, okay, are you moving down here? You know what I'm saying? I need you to be kind of equally invested. What do you think about a man asking a woman to move down?
No, I 100% agree with you. I feel like the reason why, don't get me wrong, like marriage is from God. I think everybody should aim to get married at least. That's a disclaimer. So I don't think she's wrong for wanting to get married. Now, my thing is this, right? I feel like because he's too vague, because he's not letting her feel secure in where she's moving to. Now, let's deep something, right? When a girl is at her parents' home, if the dad's there especially, my dad's got me. I'm okay. I got my job. I got my girls. I got my friend. I got my community. I got my dad. I got my brothers. I got my whatever. Now, if I'm going to leave this setup, it needs to be, if not the same, better.
Hello.
Now, if I'm talking to you and you're my sweetheart and whatever, but what you're telling me to come down for doesn't sound the same and better, it actually sounds scary. It sounds like, what am I coming to? I'm not leaving. Yeah. So what I'm feeling here is the reason why she's so pressed on the ring is because it's like, I need some sort of guarantor from you, because what you're saying to me is too vague. I don't feel secure in leaving.
And it started off shaky. They were off and on. When he moved, they were off and on. Off and on equals off. And y'all know I always say that. Off and on equals off. Yeah. Also, sweetheart, please get into my Secret Girls chat. I have so many horror stories. You know how I feel about college sweethearts. College sweethearts, I'm telling you, it takes the patience of Mother Teresa to make something work when you all met at that young of age and just growing in parallel together, and so him moving and things becoming shaky, I just would like to see a little bit more stability before you made that move. And also just like, don't let anybody bully you into something. I think that when a part of the love and support that he could give you is also the understanding of, I'm afraid of this. I don't feel that secure, I don't quite know what this will be. I have friends and family there. Like, that'll also show you a lot about who he is and what his intentions are. And if he's actually prepared to bring you down to his, like, don't play with me, okay? Leaving my friends, family, job, and all this stuff. Like, boy, you better have something. That refrigerator better be full. You know what I'm saying?
Show me a community or pattern of hairdressers for me.
Exactly.
Something. Make me feel welcome.
Yeah, make me feel welcome and really kind of plan things out. So my verdict is, I want to see a little bit more from him. I want to see a little bit more from him. And I also would love to hear you. I think girl to girl, woman to woman, I know what it's like when a woman speak about her man. I'm speaking about men that I met 2 weeks ago on Hinge in a different kind of way, baby. Better than the way you speaking about this man. You've been, 4 years in, I would like to hear a little bit more about just the dynamic of their relationship. So yeah, I think I would like to see a little bit more time. And I think that how he handles this and you not moving, would tell you a lot about him.
Don't you think it's interesting to hear this, right? She wants a ring. My thing is, I've always stood on this. Marriage doesn't help relationships or save relationships. They magnify if it's good or bad. So my thing is, we can clearly see that there's some shakiness. She's even admitted that there's been some shakiness. So even despite that you can admit that there's shakiness, we can feel there's shakiness. I still want a ring. So my thing is, if there's shakiness without the ring, what's the ring gonna do? Because like we've addressed, it only magnifies. If the situation is good without the ring, it's gonna magnify that. If the situation is bad without the ring, it's gonna magnify it. Long story short, a ring is a magnifying glass. We all know what that looks like. Inspector Morse. That's what the ring is. The ring is gonna be a magnifying glass. So if you ain't sure about where this guy's taking you, that ring isn't gonna make him any more sure. If he hasn't got you a community, a hairdresser's, a job, ain't helping you on LinkedIn, ain't making you feel welcome, why do you think that ring's gonna change that?
I absolutely agree.
You're asking for a ring from a guy that maybe just can't do it.
Or asking from a ring from somebody who, a lot of times, I read something the other day that said men will always do what's convenient for them first. They will always do what benefits them first, right? And then they'll figure the rest out. And so my thing is like, you know, maybe he tired of having it flown back and forth. Maybe he want more direct access to the intimacy and the physical connection, right? Maybe he, you know, we don't really know his actual, like his maturity level and what his actual intentions are. And a lot of times he could just be trying to make things more convenient for him, because now instead of having to lie and cheat, he got to go back and forth, and it's like this long distance. And a lot of times that just, you know, weighing on him, and that it may not be out of love and adoration. It could just be out of convenience, and he thinks that being closer to him is going to be more convenient for him. For him in particular. So interesting. But again, our verdict is give it a little bit more time. We want to see more from him, and put the wager on his head. Tell him where am I coming to? Where am I coming to? What have you prepared for me? Let me know where you're going to be leading me to. Let's see. We want to see more from him, friend. Okay. On to our third voicemail. Dear Tisia voicemail. We have, now that I'm smaller, he wants more. Okay, let's see.
Dear Tisia, I am a 24-year-old. I was not recently, but I was 275 pounds. I lost about 100 pounds. Still in the process of losing more. And something that I've noticed is that a lot of my male friends, when I was heavier, the relationship was very platonic. But now that I'm down in weight, I feel like I've already lost so many, but like I feel like it's turned very romantic, and it's made me very uncomfortable. So I guess my question is, do you think that males and females can be friends, like platonically? Because I feel like I'm about to lose another one of my male friends, because he's been recently calling me, and just like the topic of discussion has been just like he wants a girlfriend, and I've just been brushing past it, not really saying too much about it. And like when he like talks about it, the way he's describing it is he's literally describing me. And I'm not trying to sound like a narcissist. I'm talking, he described my heritage, my ethnicity, body type, skin color. And it just made me really uncomfortable. Like I didn't really say anything. So I just don't know. Maybe it's me thing, because I've not been able to keep any of my male friends now that I've gone down in weight. But yeah, do you think that male and females can be friends platonically?
I mean, I don't really think that's the true heart of the question. Is like, can males and females be friends platonically? Absolutely, positively, they can. However, this is a whole nother issue we talking about. We're talking about you losing 100 pounds, and now you're in a category where you're more attractive to men that were close to you. And I think that that's just something that you have to acknowledge and accept. Literally, you're now fitting more of the standard of beauty. That's just bottom line. Just bottom line. You are now fitting into a different standard of beauty, and now there will be far more men that not just find you more attractive, want to and want a piece of it, and in all capacities, even just emotionally, you know, because mentally and emotionally, because they also are your friends, and they've seen you through growth, you know, up and down, you know, so they probably also want a piece of you emotionally and mentally. But I think that that's just a reality of her new life and her new state. And it's honestly like, welcome to the doggy dog world of this womanhood shit, where now it's like, you know, conventionally, you may have slipped under the radar. Last week we had or a couple weeks ago, we had an episode about just, being the fat friend and things like that, and being overlooked and not being, in that standard of beauty, and people not being able to accept you at that point. Now the dog and these men are coming out. They sniff all of that out. And also, we talked about this as well. A lot of times when you lose the weight, the mentality is still the same. And when men see that you've lost that weight, they also know how you behaved and interacted when you were a larger person. And I think I've shared this story before. Growing up, my mother was very overweight, and she ended up getting a weight loss surgery. And when we would eat, she would never eat with the family, but then I would come upstairs to use the bathroom or something, and I would see her eating at 3:00 in the morning. And she ended up sharing with me that one, she had been publicly shamed for eating, because everybody gonna be like, oh, that's how you got that way anyway. Right. And even though she was 120 pounds now, her mentality was still the same. And a lot of men can still smell the big girl mentality on you, that was a people pleaser, that was codependent, that wanted to be liked by everybody, that was the butt of the joke, that let people disrespect them and laugh it off. Okay. Like, a lot of men can still smell that on you. And so honestly, these men trying to get a test run. They trying to get a test run. They now see you in a different light, and they're more intrigued about what's going on with you. The thing is, they sound like she ain't interested.
Yeah. The thing is, you touch on a really good thing here. I've never been a fan when people say health. They always differentiate physical and mental. What you've brought attention to is, you can get physical done. Clearly, she lost the weight, but if your mental ain't in conjunction with the physical, you still got work to do, because she did get the amazing body, and credit to her. But if your mind's still the big girl, it's pointless, because you are going to still be a people pleaser. You still are going to be that, I don't even like using the word big girl, your old self mentally. And that's what men look for. They go for the mind, they manipulate, they're narcissists, they whatever. These things are with the mind. So if you've still got the same mentality, you're still going to get the same results. But the biggest thing for me that I heard that triggered me is this. My male friends are asking me, and they're changing the way they talk to me, whatnot. She then opened and said, I'm telling you, me and, us lot listening, but I never said anything to him. You see that there? If your friend oversteps the line by now getting sexual with you, or letting you know I'm interested in you in that way, you see, not saying anything, you might as well have said yes.
Oh, say that.
Because the boundary needs to be set. If I am friends with a female, because we're friends, me and you are friends. And if I randomly wake up and it's like, hey, baby boo Ray, I'm not gonna be like, hi Tisia. The minute I've done that, I'm letting Tisia know that we can go there. But if I say, Tisia, you okay?
Yeah, right.
Like, what's up? Like, since when? And you might even turn around out of shame and say, sorry, Ray, I got a hangover, I'm a bit tipsy. Okay, because that was a bit weird. Then Tisia knows, I can't do that with Ray again.
Exactly.
But if you send me, hey boo Ray, and I go, hey boo back.
Right.
But then I'm expecting, then I go and tell my friends or a podcast, my friend Tisia is hitting on me. Duh.
Right. But that's, like, to your point, that's the byproduct of the physical changing and the mental not changing, because I can guarantee you at 275 pounds, she let a lot of shit slide in her life. She let a lot of men make sexual innuendos that were disrespectful and disgusting, and she didn't say anything. That is just programming, and the mind got to match the body now. This is just a running theme of a lot of women that have lost weight. I'm telling you, the mind has to match. It has to match. And I think she should just really do some self-discovery about setting boundaries. And that's, that's a very good point. Why you ain't said that to this man yet? He calling you talking about some, I love men that wear black jeans and a black hoodie and a black hat with Jordans on. Why you haven't said about why haven't you said something like, bro, is you cool? Like,
I tell you the real truth. She's lost the weight, but the big girl in her that wanted the attention, I'm finally getting it. So as much as I should be saying no to you, there's a part of the cute little girl in me is like, tell me more.
Yeah.
So you just gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah, and honestly too, and this is girl to girl, somebody who has struggled with body dysmorphia, somebody whose weight has fluctuated, and I mean, I've been at a comfortable weight, I've been at weights that I wasn't comfortable with, right? girl, welcome to the ugly side of of being a woman. And not that you have never experienced that, but it's a different category, right? Where you become the look that men want, the look that men are interested in. They don't just want to abuse and use and use up, right? Like, girl, get ready to be exhausted. And I hope that you're doing some, like I said, some mental health work and just really kind of building yourself up, because, girl, now you about to see a whole other side, you know. And not all of it is good, you know.
Yeah.
Most of it ain't, honestly.
Yeah. That's why you have to set the boundaries.
Yeah, you're right about that. She should have been said something.
If her best friend's there describing her and saying he wants to do this to her and do that to her, you just laughing it off and not saying anything, you basically said, keep going.
Also, you know, they always say, how does a man treat a woman that he's not attracted to? You saw how he treated you when he wasn't attracted to you. You never got any of that.
Right.
You never got no boo babe, nothing like that. Hi. Right. You know what I'm saying? Did he have that same adoration, care, and concern? Was he calling you? You know what I'm saying? Stay away from people like that. Exactly. Especially when he's trying to now move out of the friend zone into something else. That's also, girl, and let me tell you this. I've seen this movie before. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Okay? I played this game. These are the type of men, the men that will say, like, you know, all my life, like, I really, you know, we've always been friends. I always loved your personality. And, you know, we just never got the opportunity. Let's explore this now. And you're going to give this man a chance, and it's going to be a nightmare from hell. Okay. He's going to be the person that you never knew he could be. Okay. Because he's not in the friend category anymore. Now you have expectations of him. Now and it's just really, honestly, not a good idea. I think you should practice standing up for yourself and saying something like, yo, what's up? I don't like this. I'm not interested, and I don't like you, you know.
And see how he maneuvers.
Right. Yep.
I love that.
Period. Okay. So now we're on to our Bitch You Smell Good segment. Okay, so this episode, we're actually featuring an oil. Okay, first of all, let me tell you about Brown Sugar Babe oil. Brown Sugar Babe, I have been repping this company for so long. I am absolutely obsessed with these oils. I have, no lie, probably about 50 to 70 of these oils in my closet. I love Brown Sugar Babe. I have been repping them before I had a brand deal, before I had any type of connections with them. And this is not sponsored, by the way, i.e. Brown Sugar Babe. Call me, girl. This fragrance in particular is My Tribeca, and this is modeled after Bond Number 9 Tribeca. And I brought the fragrance because I actually had the fragrance to the oil. And they have other ones that are modeled after, like Delina exclusive, or, you know, things like that. So I actually have this fragrance, which is modeled after, which is Bond Number 9 Tribeca. But anyways, if y'all never smelled Bond Number 9, Bond Number 9 Tribeca, it is actually, I think, it is a more sophisticated version of Mason's Francis Kurkdjian, the Baccarat. Okay, it's actually, I always tell people, if you feel like they thought it out, Baccarat, get Tribeca from Bond Number 9. Okay, and this oil is gonna do nothing but amplify it. It's just so good. If you are a Baccarat girl and you want to just switch the profile up a little bit, I'm telling you. First of all, get this oil. It's called My Tribeca by Brown Sugar Babe. And then get the Bond Number 9 Tribeca. The combos together is absolutely tea. This is actually a new bottle that I got from their brand. I had purchased this oil before, but anyways, it is just so good. I don't know if they have the notes that's on here, but again, if you were a Baccarat girly and you still like that fragrance profile, but you want something a little bit more mature and sophisticated, I'm telling you, it will give you reminiscences. This is like a cousin of Baccarat, but I personally think it's more sophisticated. Hence why I have it in my collection. And please go ahead and check out. Go to the website, okay, and get the My Tribeca oil to layer under the fragrance. Okay, y'all, the combination is just so good. Shout out to Brown Sugar Babe. They just took us to see Beyonce in Atlanta. I'm still not over Jay-Z coming out 2 days after I left. I went to the show on a Thursday. That man came out on Saturday, and I'm never gonna be over it. Okay, I missed Jay-Z by 2 days, y'all.
Deep. So close.
So close. So close. But anyways, shout out to Brown Sugar Babe. These oils are absolutely incredible. Write us in the comments and let us know if y'all want to know what my favorite Brown Sugar Babe oils are. Okay. On to our red flag report. Okay. Not my kid, not my problem. Oh, I remember this one. In a viral Instagram clip, a woman explains that she bought dinner only for herself and her biological children, leaving out her stepson. She justifies it by saying that her children are her responsibility and her stepson is not. When her husband confronted her about it, she pushed back, saying she assumed he'd feed his own son. She compares the situation to being at a park and not expecting others to share food with your kids. She ends by saying she birthed 7 children and they're the only ones she feels she's responsible for. Let me say this, okay? I was gonna filter myself, but I don't go. This is my shit, okay? You're a disgrace of a wife, okay? You're a disgrace, okay? You're a disgrace of a wife, and honestly, your husband probably feels embarrassed and ashamed that he married you, okay? You have skipped over the vital things that literally is why a man would marry a woman. You're talking about empathy, nurturing, patience, kindness, generosity, all of the things that literally a man, even helping him raise his children. You knew he had a kid when he, not just basic humanity. You have your motherly instinct only activates when it's on your own children. Deep. You know, and honestly, something maybe I don't know when the kid came, but maybe she felt some type of bitterness before about the kid being around or whatever. But honestly, it's really a disgrace and it's really a shame. And I'm gonna tell you this. Men handle that type of stuff a lot differently. Correct. Okay. This type of betrayal, and it's an emotional betrayal. It's a betrayal in your actual union and covenant, right? Yeah. And I'm telling you that your man for the rest of his life will be laying next to you, bitch, mad that he ever met you. I'm telling you. No, 100%. This is like literally a betrayal of an actual covenant, right? Because when a man gets on one knee and he says you, not her, not her, not her, not all the millions of girls in the world, I want you, and you didn't act it up like this where you won't feed a child. Yeah. This man literally, he will always have a wandering eye. His heart will always wander. Yeah. He would never be settled in the marriage with you. And there's nothing that you can do to take this back. So I hope you're happy. Yeah, no, I have nothing to say. I hope that a man is never going to forget this. No, 100%. And you talk a child. I think if I was to say anything, because you said it word for word, I think there's a bigger problem here. She's lost who she is, because like you said, as a woman, you are naturally by God's given right been given the fact to nurture and have empathy. The fact that you don't feed a child, something's happened to you, you're desensitized, you're traumatized. There's something chemically wrong here, mentally wrong here, because to watch a child not eat while your 7 other ones do, there's a bigger issue here. There's something wrong with her. I think it's something to do with the dynamic of the husband. It could be how the child was made or the time it was conceived, if there was some sort of infidelity. But even for me, that's the problem you need to have with your husband. It's an innocent child here. But also, what I meant more so is that sometimes a woman will marry you and come into your life or want to be with you based only on your bubble. The bubble that you and that person can create, how you're going to travel together, the family that you're going to build. And they'll say they'll accept the kids, but they never imagine the family together and blended. And so I feel like she loved and cared about him and wanted to marry him and had excluded any other things that was a part of his life. You know, she created a life with him based off of what the 7. You know, am I 7 freaking children? Girl, first of all, you already got a shelter. You already got a damn orphanage. Okay, you got 7 damn kids, and you up here talking about some you can't feed one of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm telling you, but I'm serious. Like the deepest issue, right? And let me say this, okay? It's women like you that give us a bad rap. Let me tell you this, that the one day that you don't work out with this man, okay, and this man now is released into the general public, is women like you that have treated him like this, that good women, okay, women that are emotionally available, stable, and ready to submit to a man is going to meet a bitter, cold-hearted man because of you.
And he's got now trust issues.
He got trust issues, okay? He's broken. His heart is tattered, and it's women like you that really make it hard for us. And we do not talk about that a lot. You know, we do not talk about the women that are out here grinding, okay, that are distorting men's reality of women. And then we, the single women who have no kids, are meeting the divorced Derricks, okay? And we're meeting them, and they got all these stipulations. They got all these rules. They stuck in their ways. They talking about what they not gonna do. Why? Because you, friend, have decided to not nurture and starve out his child, right? You know what I'm saying? It makes a man doubt all of these things because most of the time now, I know it's a lot of interesting thing on the internet with women proposing, but typically the man is the one, typically the man is the one proposing. That's a big decision for him to make. Imagine marrying a woman that won't accept or feed your child. He is never going to get over it. And now when he enters into society, because I promise you that this marriage won't last. Okay?
Yeah, no, I agree. But I definitely think, and I'm trying, I'm going to be honest, I've been only trying this for the last year. I'm trying to, whenever I hear anything, I'm trying to always not look at it for what it is and ask why. Because for a woman to do that and not feed the one child out of the 7, we have to ask why. And it's not to justify it because it's wrong, but let's have an understanding of grace. Now, for me, it's this, right? If you deep down go into her past, whatever, there could be, hypothetically, by the way, there could be something where she's had a stepmom and it was normalized to her, or she's had someone that's come in and home wrecked hers, or had a stepsister that was the favorite child. And not to say it's justified, but something in her has believed that this, what she's doing, is okay.
Well,
and that's come from
Ray
something.
Ray is very mature. I'm not that damn mature
right.
yet, okay? Because
I'm
like
gonna tell you this: to you, though,
if a man try to starve out my kid, him and everybody can fucking go, okay? Ray is clearly way more mature than me, okay? Because I'm not that goddamn mature. I don't want to dig and find out what happened in your past and your mama and a stepsister or nothing like that, okay? Right. I'm not that damn mature. Clearly, but you're more mature.
Check the beauty of this, though, right? Check the beauty of this. Hurt people.
You're right.
It's not just the Instagram caption. It's not just a reel that I've done. It's not a caption. It's a real thing.
You're right.
Hurt people. So, and like I said to you, as much as I made a disclaimer, I've only started practicing a year. I'm 35. Do you know what I mean? So I've done 34 years of thinking, but I've realized, especially I'm trying to get closer to God, give grace, but give grace of understanding. Like, for a woman who's been birthed as a nurturer to not do that, let's question it. Let's not ridicule her, and let's not throw the stones, and let's not, let's really question it. Why did you do this? Not saying it's justified, but let's have an understanding. And it comes down to the husband as well. And I loved what you said in our previous episode. Sometimes ask yourself your contribution to this. Because it's never 100% someone else's fault. Even if it's 1% of contribution, it's still a contribution. My thing is this: when you was marrying this woman, your wife doesn't randomly just turn non-maternal.
You're right.
It's not possible. Yeah, you don't wake up one day. You've been a great friend to me. You ain't gonna randomly just say, I don't like you no more, Ray. I'm gonna be the worst enemy. Right. There has to be something. If I have the patience and the grace to be like, Tisia, you switched up on me. As long as I've known you've been great. The first day I met you, do you know what you said to me? Ray, you've just moved to this country. I'm giving you cutlery. I'm coming to your house right now and I'm gonna give you some cutlery. Now imagine now, months later or years later, I'm messaging you, you're airing me out, you're being rude to me. That didn't happen overnight. I have to have the patience to be like, Tisia, what happened? Ray, do you know what happened? There was one time I reached out to you. I was near your house. It was late night. I saw your lights were on. I called you because someone was following me and I was in danger and I needed you as a friend. I saw your lights were on and you let me ring out. I could hear your phone ringing and your lights on, but I could hear you having a great time with your partner, with your friends. You left me outside that day, and that's why I've cut you off, and that's why I'm mean to you. Doesn't mean it's justified why I'm mean to you, but there is a contribution from me why Tisia changed on me. So he has to question, when I was marrying this woman or courting her or scanning her, did I see a maternal side to her? Because she didn't wake up and just not feed the children. There's something that happened, or you turned a blind eye to, but maybe she was giving you good coochie. Maybe she was feeding you well. Sometimes we get blinded,
right? Yeah.
And then red flags come and it's like, I never saw this coming. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. But you know what? You said give grace. And my saying is give grace, but put them in their place. I love that. You don't. I can give you grace and put you right in that fourth row. Okay. You don't get
right.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, I don't know. I think that sometimes we have overhealed and everybody's trying to be so damn deep. And it sometimes it just take like baseline stuff. Now, granted, this is a union and a marriage, and I think that things should be handled a little differently. But I mean, I don't know. Again, maybe I need to go pay the lady a little bit more, but I feel like I would have a hard time trying to dig for the why as to why my wife, a mother of 7, and I probably have given her half or more of those 7 children, is now depriving my child of food. I would have a hard time trying to figure out the why on that one.
And I did, but I'm trying to mature, and I'm trying to
look, okay, look, I got work.
Right, we all do, but there is something there. There is 100%.
I can agree with that. Now, again, there's something there. Whether I'm ready and willing to explore it is another thing. Sometimes I think things are just really too deep. And again, you know, this is like my preparation and like being a wife. And I know that I have to have like just a little bit more wherewithal and depth, because I'm just like, dog, I'm not willing to go there with you. And I know that there's going to be hard times and things like that. But it's just like some things not everybody play like that. Some things be your baseline. The real thing about this is that I feel like this man is his heart. I'm not sure if it's going to recover. You can go and find out the why and be like, oh yeah, I you know, you've seen this before. It's just like, okay, you dropped the plate and it broke, you know, and it's like, you said you're sorry, but did the pieces jump back together? No.
They're never going to be the same.
They still
Correct.
shattered on the floor. And I feel like, yeah, I could find out that your mama lost your kids and you went in foster care and you was, you know, abused as a child and all this stuff, and that's why you treating my kid like that. Yeah. But the pieces of the plate didn't jump back together, you know? And again, maybe like I gotta go pay the lady some more, y'all, because I don't know, but I ain't that mature.
No, you're right. And like I said, I did think like this. I tell you, do you want to know the real truth why I stopped? And I did mature. First of all, I became a life coach. You have to start looking at things deeper. But away from a life coach, I'll tell you a quick story. There was a porno star that they done a documentary on her before, and she has children. She has 4. She's not a porno star anymore, but her children are getting ridiculed, and they wanted to find out, like, you was doing this for a good 20 years. Why? And naturally, when I was in my judgmental stage and my immature stage, I was like, why would you pick that career? You know, so judgmental. You know how we are. The documentary opened up. You know what she said? To the average person, whether they're Jehovah's Witness, whether they're Muslim, whether they're Christian, they've been taught their whole life sex before marriage. Even though people don't do it, that's what they've been told. She said, I was raised with my mother. My dad was never in the picture. My mother, every single night when I was a teenager, would go out on a Friday. In UK, we have a thing called pub. It's like where you go and drink, right? What would you call it here? Maybe just a bar. Yeah. Every Friday, her mother would bring home a new guy from the pub every single Friday. So you can imagine, if you're Jehovah's Witness or you're Muslim or you're Christian, you only see your parents together and you only see sex with marriage people, and you're always taught sex before marriage. She said sex for her was something you do on Friday with multiple men. Our first teachers, whether we like it or not, is your parents. Facts. Like, you can go to all the schools in the world, but your first teacher or headmaster is your parent. And they teach you unconsciously. It's your learnt behaviors, good or bad. Now imagine being 12, 13, 14, 15, and your first experience of sex that's coming from your parent, your first teacher, is every Friday I will sleep with multiple men and I will just hear it. While I'm sleeping, I will just hear a good time. That person, I'll never see them again, and I'll see another one, Dave, Ben, Henry, whatever. Now, she then said in this documentary, I'm now an adult. My mom was doing this for free. Sex was never valuable to me. It was never a covenant to me. It was something you do for fun on a Friday, and I can get paid for this.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, here's me judging you because you was a porno star. But I'm judging you because I was raised as a Christian. I was raised at sex before marriage. My mother wasn't bringing in Tom, Dick, Harry, Henry, whatever. So I'm judging you because my upbringing, it wasn't normal. She was normalized that sex is for fun. And my mom is doing it for free. So then I can then go and get paid. Remember, porno stars, I don't know why I know this, they get paid very well. So it's like I can get paid for what my mom was doing for free. And it's not that I agree with it now, but I understood the why.
Yeah.
So now she's married, her husband, he's given her that grace because he knows you ain't a porno star and doing wrong because you're consciously doing it. You genuinely thought this was normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it matured me to
Yeah.
be like, understand someone's story, understand someone's wiring before you make judgment on them. But yeah, I dropped the mic there.
Again, Ray is a lot more mature than I. I just wouldn't got it. I don't have it in me. But also, I think just the last thing I'm gonna say about this is that, I always say that everybody has like a panel of buttons behind their heart, and it's about how you grew up, triggers from when you were a child, the way that you were treated, how your parents parented you, experiences you had in sportsmen in school, all. And there's like, you have like a dashboard, and there are things that people do in your life that are gonna press and light them up in a good or a bad way, right? Like things that you can be like, wow, like, well, my dad never kept his promises, but my husband does. And so that's a special thing for you, right? Or like, you make me feel invisible, and that's how I felt as a child. And so I'm telling you, this child shit would have triggered the hell out of me. I don't know how much grace I could have given, okay? Because I know what it's like to be the child skipped over.
Get you.
I know what it's like, and I'm telling you, I say this all the time, and it's so much deeper. Not everybody play like that. You don't know what button on the dash you pressing with me. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
And you gotta watch it. You don't know what buttons you're pressing with people. You don't know everything that they've been through, and you don't know how you're triggering them. And it's my job to. What triggers you controls you. So it's my job to work on this. But I'm gonna tell you this: starving a kid.
See, let me say something
I'll be at
to
the
you.
courthouse.
You said that right now it's triggering because you know what it feels like to be the, the odd one out or whatever, right? And I love that. There's a saying, it's called the drunken father's mythology. A father who was an alcoholic had two boys, twins. One never touched alcohol because he saw what it done to his family home. He never touched it. And one was carbon copy of his dad. Now, it's a beautiful analogy because it's triggered you. And I know by the grace of God, how you are as a friend to me, how you conduct yourself. I know you're going to be a phenomenal mother, but you're going to do this. It's a deep one. Sometimes the most giving people in life are giving. Do you know why? They're trauma bonding. They know how it feels to not be loved. So they've ensured themselves, I will never let another child go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And that's the good way. But like I said about the drunken dad analogy, you got someone that will never touch alcohol because he knows the effects, and someone that will only touch alcohol because that's his norm. Now, to me and you, I would never do that to a child because I've been neglected before. So I'm with you. I'm on that side, right? So we're the one that's never going to drink alcohol. But then there's somebody that I've been neglected. I know what that feels like. That is my norm.
Right.
And it's the grace
Okay,
again.
Ray, I'll send you a little check in the mail for your service. I'll send you a little check in the mail for your services, okay? God damn. All right. I'm gonna give a little more grace, okay?
Right.
Maybe the woman going through something.
Right.
Well, anyway, that's that. Thank y'all for tuning in. Bye.
Thank you. Pleasure.